Salam alaikum, alaikum salam, kesami lakutare. I hope you guys are having a great day. This small topic that I'm going to speak about was kind of initiated by a practitioner that asked me for advice. And he knows who we are, who he is, and I'm happy and glad that he got in contact with me before he did anything that maybe will make him feel disappointed or feel like he did something incorrectly. And we're talking about when you are a member of a spiritual house of an Enzo, and you receive, let's say a matari, let's say a necklace that represents the house, and you use it for protection because they gave it to you for protection, or the matari as a form of protection. Some give a baston, some give luceros and cuyos. This form of stuff, you understand? A lot of us, when we feel that there's something wrong with the house, or we notice that things are not what they seem to be or were at the beginning, we get disappointed. And it's okay. This is a human thing to be disappointed and get upset and get hurt in a way where you feel hurt. You understand? I understand that. I've been there more than once. You guys already know. But the question is, what do you do with those religious spiritual items that you received? Because that question always comes up. What do I do with these spiritual items that I received from this house that I used to be in or belong to, this community? And I'm going to be honest with you. The great majority of us, we throw them away. We just take them somewhere and throw them away. Some people throw them in the trash. That's how upset and hurt they are. They lose respect for it. They lose everything, though. Everything that they felt that they were doing correctly, once they find out that the house that they were in, it's actually a disappointment, or they are mistreated, or they're not being taught, or they being scammed, or whatever it may be, or there's a lot of gossip and problems and all this and all that, then a lot of us get discouraged. So we figure, why am I going to keep these spiritual items when it came from a elder, whether male or female, that this is how this person was? So this energy that he had, we look at it like it's kind of passed on also to these spiritual items that we have. And in some form, in some way, it could be. It could have an influence. Because if that elder or the female male is not doing the things correctly, and they're giving you things that really don't have no spirituality, or no, it's empty, there's nothing really there, then you really have nothing. You just have what we will say here in the English term, a paperweight. But there are some cases where they are not paperweights. They have spirituality. So that's where the question comes in. See, because if I was sure that what I have, there's nothing there, then it's fine for me just to throw it away, because I know there's nothing there. Because depending of what you see, if he was there or not, or you went to a place and a good tata verified if that was done, if it was actually done or not correctly, and he gets the indication that his muerto says that there's nothing there, man. That's empty. Then it's fine. You could throw it away. But if it has spirituality in it and it's not harming you, it's for you, then that's where things get a little bit iffy at. You understand? Because it's kind of disrespectful to take something that was born for you. When I say born, that was conformed for you. You understand? And it's done correctly, and it's made to protect you, or other things. Open your roads, open your paths, prevent negativity, to come forward and do harm to you. There's things that we got to be, careful when we decide that when we leave a munanso on getting rid of these things. Because if you get rid of it and it has spirituality in it, you could do more harm to yourself than good. It's kind of disrespect. You understand that what that spirit, or that what that item that has spirituality was doing for you and living with you for so long of a time, whatever, if it was a couple of months, a year, two, whatever, it was living with you. You was taking care of it. You was holding it. You was maybe talking to it. You was, if you got the ability to divine with, and you got a lucero and cuyo or something, then, you guys had a conversation. You was back and forth with a spirit or some form of spirituality. So it's kind of, in other words, you're deserting something, you're leaving something, you're throwing something away that was connected with you already. It's kind of a form of neglect in a way. So you could bring some type of you could have some repercussions for doing that. That's why if you hear a lot of elders, especially elders in the Ocha tradition, Santeria, a lot of them, a lot of those elders, if you have received certain things like in the legua, like the guerreros and things like that, and one day you leave that house and you throw them away, and then you go to another elder and you want to see if you could be in his house or join his community, and you tell them that you threw away el legua or your guerreros, a lot of them right there and then would not even take you in, because they see it as a form of disrespect, because you don't know if that was done correctly or not. And if it was done correctly and it has the spirituality there, then you're respecting what they believe in, what the elder believes in. So if they look at you like you're not worthy to be in my house because you disrespected my orisha, especially a legua. You understand? It's the littlest one, but it's the most important one. So, and I'm talking in that basis. So imagine if you go to an elder from Nkisi Malongo, female or male, doesn't matter, and you just tell them you threw away. Of course, there's gonna be some that don't care. Oh well, and some of them will even tell you if you talk to them, oh, dale camino, like without not even checking, dale camino, and that's the incorrect way of doing that. I would hold what I have, whatever is a matari or some type of chain or something. Hold what I have, and when I find another place, I will explain to the other tata where I was at before, give him some of the situation and all that. And if he takes me in, because then Ganga say yes, and he's in accord with it, now tell him, listen, I received this, can I bring it in to see what we could do with these items or with these religious, spiritual items, or could you check if it has spirituality? And if it's a good tata or yaya, and they have a good fundamento, it'll tell them if it has spirituality or not. And the good tata or yaya will check to see if it's done correctly, if it has spirituality, and if it's done correctly. One thing is having spirituality, and another thing is being the treaties that it has being correct. And a lot of times when you join another Muranzo, since that particular item, let's say a lucero, especially a lucero en cuyo, something like that, a lot of times what happens is that a lot of the tatas, it's not that that lucero, because it didn't come from them, they don't want it. Is that the way it was conformed and the treaties that it has, it doesn't go in line with the treaties of their Munanzo, of their lineage. So if it does have spirituality, they'll keep the same, let's say, spirit that it has, but then they would open it up and change the treaty and make it be more in line with their Munanzo, with their lineage, but you keep the same spirit that's in there. You understand? Some might change the name of that spirit just for your protection, and and give it to you and give you a new firma and everything, but you will keep that same receptacle, that that spiritual item. Now, sometimes you don't have no one to go to. Sometimes you feel that what you have on you or what you have received is what's keeping you from moving forward. So what happens is that, like I said, a lot of us just throw it away. I'm going to give you an advice. My advice is to hold whatever you have until you are able to speak to a good elder. And when I say elder, it could be male or female. It doesn't matter, a yaya or a tata. I would hold that until I find another bonanzo or another elder that I could verify and take my things to. There is a good elder and is a respectable elder, and he's gonna tell you nothing but the truth, not a scammer. I will hold it. Now, if the only other way, and this is option 2, and this option I really don't recommend it, but I've been there, so I'm going to tell you what I have done because of the lack of, or let's say of the disrespect that I found from the elder, and within times what I saw, what I heard, and what I found out about it, and started seeing and hearing and looking at how the things were being done. I myself, with the little bit at that time of knowledge that I had, I knew that the things that I had were not right. So what I did, I took my things to the river. I took something of derecho, something to give back to those spirits, especially the force of the river, which a lot of us call a mamachola, right? And other names. I gave her an offering or some offerings, and I put the stuff in the water that I received and gave it back to where it came from. Because the main things that would somehow have spirituality come from the earth. So I gave it back to the earth. That's that's another way that you could do it. I recommend the latter, which is the first one that I said. But I know that a lot of us get so disappointed and so upset, and depending of the situation that we are in, you know, a lot of us see that we are just going backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards. Nothing that we have received or gotten, or we've been fooled, or we've been scammed, or we've been not talked to correctly and told us exactly what's this for, what's that for, what does this do, what does this not do, what could I do with it, what can I not do with it. You know, we feel like we've been taken. In other words, we feel almost like idiots. You understand? And it's not that we idiots. It's that when we don't have the knowledge of these traditions, you know, because I understand that a lot of elders don't teach, and then a lot don't give you much information. And if you're not from a Munanso, you know, the dust teachers, elders don't want to give you nothing, because, you know, they feel as though that what their godchildren are there earning to get, they don't want to give it to you for free, because their godchildren are trying to earn to receive what that godparent gives them. You understand? In other words, you know, they there busting their butt, they helping out, they trying to learn, they going to classes. So, you know, I understand that they don't want to, you know, give stuff out for free to others when their own godchildren are working to get these type of information, and these type of treaties, and these talks, and these things, and these type of, you know, understandings of certain things. But if you could speak to a tata or yaya that has a good fundamento, you know, and you could take your stuff to them and ask them, if you feel like in some way that you don't think that has anything in it, I would advise you to go there. If it's a good tata or yaya and they tell you there's nothing there, then what we see is dale camino. Give it walk. Let it go. And the best way to let it go is take the stuff back to where it come from, to the natural resources, whether it be a river, whether it be the woods, whether you bury it, or stuff like that. You understand? Whether it be the sea. You know, it's the only advice that I could give you guys. I mean, a lot of people will talk against getting rid of it because, like I said, you know, it's kind of a form of disrespect to that spirituality that item has, if it does have a spirit in it. You understand? So we just got to be very careful. But hopefully anybody that see this video that's an elder and could put in a comment their recommendations on what to do will be greatly appreciated for those who watch the video, who actually get other opinions of elders also. I'm not the best. I'm not the all-know be-all. And I actually don't know anything. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam.